We live in an era where four people can sit 3 feet apart every single night and never actually meet. We sit in the same room, eating at the exact same time, separated by glowing screens and invisible walls. For thousands of years, the daily meal was the exact opposite of this. It was the physical epicenter of the home, designed to build trust, to transfer faith, and force human connection. Look at this transition. By the mid-20th century, the geometry of the dining room began to shift. Instead of facing each other, families turned their chairs toward a corner, eating side by side while staring at a broadcast. We can reverse this trend. By looking at the physical and spiritual design of biblical meals, we can identify simple, actionable practices to rebuild the sacred table in your home, starting tonight. You don't need to be a gourmet chef to do this. Whether you are serving a 3-course roast or eating takeout pizza from a cardboard box, the menu has exactly zero impact on whether this works. Reclaiming the table is about breaking our modern habits of distraction. It requires intentional steps to restore the lost art of looking the people you love in the eye. The historical precedent starts early. When Abraham welcomed visitors in the book of Genesis, he immediately prepared bread, meat, and milk. Sharing food in the ancient Near East meant offering peace, acceptance, and covenant hospitality. They didn't sit in separate rooms or at segmented counters. Families gathered closely around low tables or mats placed directly on the floor. The physical constraint forced physical closeness. God specifically used this physical closeness to build spiritual memory. During the first Passover in Egypt, he commanded every household to gather and eat the exact same meal together. The shared experience was the mechanism they used to remember what God had done for them. By the time of the Roman Empire, a specific dining arrangement became common. It was called a triclinium, a U-shaped table where people reclined. This architecture made isolation difficult. Facing inward on the outside curve, you had to look directly at others. Pulling from common center dishes meant personal space constantly overlapped, forcing conversation and sharing. These ancient dining setups were highly effective tools. Their physical design broke down social barriers and engineered unity as an unavoidable byproduct of dinner. That exact formula, pairing food, faith, and family, persisted long past the biblical era. It became a proven pattern for building strong communities across centuries. We see this clearly in medieval monasteries and castles. People gathered around massive, long wooden tables to eat their daily meals together, often while scripture was read aloud to the entire room. To replicate this today, we have to start with step 1, clear the clutter. You must designate your dining area as a strict zero distraction zone. That means physically removing smartphones and tablets from the room. Human connection cannot compete with the constant engineered drip of digital dopamine, so the devices have to be out of sight entirely. Step 2 is arranging for connection. Instead of handing everyone a pre-plated individual portion, place the main serving dishes directly in the center of the table. Sitting near someone isn't enough to spark fellowship. By forcing everyone to engage in the shared physical task of passing plates and asking for portions, you build the psychological bridge needed to start a real conversation. Once everyone is serving themselves, you move to step 3, intentional dialogue. If you ask a generic question like, "How was your day?" you will get a one-word answer and the conversation will stall. We can take a cue from Jewish tradition here. During the Passover meal, children are required to ask specific, structured questions, like, "Why is this night different from all other nights?" This deliberate structure gives parents a clear runway to teach their history. You can implement this same strategy by using 3 specific prompts every night. Ask, "What was the best part of your day? What was hard today? And what are you thankful for?" Finally, step 4 is cementing the faith. You bookend this physical time together with a simple prayer, vocally acknowledging that God provided the food and the family sitting in front of you. Using these direct prompts create natural openings. As the book of Deuteronomy points out, faith is best passed down during the everyday rhythms of life. The dinner table is the easiest place to transition from daily logistics to lasting biblical values. You will know these changes are working when the room naturally shifts from quick updates to honest discussions about character, daily struggles, and genuine gratitude. Once these steps are in place, the environment is ready. You have a cleared table, an engaged family making actual eye contact, and a reliable framework to keep the conversation moving. This is what it looks like when a family actively reclaims their time. They build a legacy of belonging and shared history simply by choosing to gather around a shared meal. This daily, earthly practice is mirrored in the final pages of the Bible. In Revelation chapter 19, the ultimate celebration in heaven is described as a massive shared meal. It's called the marriage supper of the Lamb. Every time you gather your family at your dining table, you are practicing for heaven's ultimate banquet. Do not wait for a holiday or a perfectly cooked roast. Clear the phones, set out the plates, and call your family to the table tonight. There is a reason modern distractions pull us away from this practice. A family that sits together, talks together, and prays together builds a shared identity that is remarkably harder to fragment.